All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakha Kodash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and others with Millstone, who teach very well. Brought this truth from and citation out there to the hopeful elect who continue to push his word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And today, man, just basically touching on, the end of this current rulership. The end of this modern day society that we know as Babylon the Great. And, this is Babylon, the land of Babel confusion, because really what it is all these different heathen nations that ruled before it, all mixed up in one. The Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, it's all mashed up in one over here in this beast system, man, which ultimately pushed forth this vibration throughout the whole world. But this sign to show ultimately that we're finna get to the end of this kingdom, man. Like brothers who play video games, once you go into the big boss, a lot of times the big boss have all the characteristics of the boss that you fought before. And that's the same thing here in Babylon the Great. The characteristics that we going through today, we can equate it into the Assyrian captivity. We can equate it to the ancient Babylonian captivity. We can even equate it to the ancient captivity when we was back in the time of Egypt, man. Showing you that Yahweh Shai is doing a beautiful work here in these days. Matter of fact, let's go in and start off right here in the book of 2nd Ezra. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 6, and I'm going to jump down to verse 7. It says, Then Esaias said, What shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that follows? Now, why is Ezra asking about when is going to be the end of the first, man? Ultimately, the end of the heathens, man. The heathens ruling, because again, ultimately, when the heathen are in rulership, things are in order. Even to a certain extent, they keep something. They'll probably keep some of the laws, or they'll probably do that. But guess what? They don't worship Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. 9 times out of 10, they're not keeping the land Sabbath. And really, under the vibration of Esau, everything is really defiled and sick in here, man. Let's go ahead and continue on, though. And that's why Ezra was asking about, Lord, how long is this going to go on? It says, And he answered unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Yes, Esau is the current end of this wicked rulership, man. Now, when you go into the end of the world, it's really talking about a end of a period or age, man. This is not going to be a perpetual rulership that we're living in, because after this rulership, guess what? The kingdom of heaven will be established, man. But guess what? It's a necessary evil for us to go through the modern things that we go through today. Let's go right here in the book of 2nd Ezra 4, and we're going to jump down to verse. Let's jump down to verse 24. It says, And we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers. Our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name, whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Now, this is basically Ezra's, basically complaining to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because once you go back into the period of time, Jake was going through a lot of hell, man. Even though we was in the midst of the temple, being built, and the heathens, we was in the midst of doing something good, and the heathen ran down on us. And again, just also shows you that Israel is used to catching hell, man. Israel is not used to being in a comfortable state. The only time we was really comfortable was those 40 years during the reign of Solomon. But under the reign of these heathens, from Nebuchadnezzar all the way down to President Trump, we really haven't had no rest, man. Let's go ahead and continue on. It says, Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteneth fast to pass away. Yes, this world is hastening fast to get out of power, man. The days are speeding up. The days go by faster. Ultimately, that's just not no coincidence That's really Yahweh Shema Shai showing you that he's speeding up the clock upon this place. Continuing on, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in the time to come. For the world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. And the reason is that happening because Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The most wicked is ruling right now, man. And he's pushing forth that wicked vibration throughout the whole planet Earth. From a little child changing his gender, from this guy force feeding you pork, man. Continuing on though. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. The evil sown is America in this beast system, man. This beast system is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. And the reason why, because the fruit is not ripe yet. You know? Continuing on, because, hey, Esau got to push forth that seed help, which we can see that he's preparing to do that. We can see it's coming into the time of harvest. You know, the green bananas starting to turn yellow because of what? This digital ID talk, man. We living in a beautiful time right now. We're living actually in a transition of kingdoms. That's why Esau came out with that new normal. That new normal is not talking about that new world order. No, that new normal is really going to be righteousness. You know? Let's go ahead and continue on. It says, but as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that sown with good. So the kingdom of heaven cannot be established unless this current society that we're living in be taken out and be destroyed, man. And ultimately it's going to be destroyed in a way of World War III. Seeing how Yahweh Shema Shai work, no coincidence that those scrambles that's happening in Israel, between Israel and Gaza, it's no coincidence that those scrambles with Trump and Zelensky. I think he would go meet with Putin today before he met with Zelensky or whatever the guy name is. But it just shows you that war is imminent and prophecy is imminent, man. And there's nothing that these devils can do to stop it. The only thing they can do is fulfill the will of the Lord. You know? So let's go ahead and go back into this Daniel 4. Then we're going to go to Daniel 2. This is the book of Daniel 4. And I'm going to jump down to verse 17. It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And Yahweh Shema Shai, he did that. He set up Esau, Edom in power, but he had his opportunity for him to do that again. They set us up in power, man. You know, the so-called black Latinos and Americans, the ones that was rejected by this modern day society, man. The ones that was never thought of. Those are the ones that the Lord is going to set up here in this lifetime, because we represent those base men now, man. You know? Let's go ahead and get this in Daniel 2. Then we're going to finish it off. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2. And I'm going to jump down. This is the book of Daniel 2 and verse 19. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the power of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh Shema Shai forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. And that's in the process that he's finna do right now. He's finna remove an unrighteous king and establish a righteous king in the form of Yahweh Shai, man. And 144,000. Continuing on them. It says, he giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. And that's the reason why Yahweh Shema Shai is giving us this truth right now, man. You know, so we can be prepared to rule, you know, in the next kingdom ahead. And it's not too far off, man. Because once you jump down, this is the book of Daniel 2, and I'm going to start at verse 44. It says, in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And that kingdom is us, man. Israel was a people before it's a place, but that kingdom is going to be the elect, the 144,000 or 1/3, that's ultimately going to kick off the kingdom of heaven, man. But ultimately, that kingdom starts on this side by you renewing your mind in Yahweh Shai. Continuing on, it says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Yeah, so after this kingdom get taken down, and all these other kingdoms that this kingdom represent, guess what? The kingdom in heaven will be established forever. Why? Because righteous is immortal. Continuing on. For as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known the king which shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain. Yes, the dream is certain. This kingdom getting taken on, the kingdom of heaven being established, and the interpretation thereof sure. We have a sure more word of prophecy that after this rulership that we're living in right now, that the kingdom of heaven will be established upon earth very soon after this kingdom be taken out, man. So yeah, I pray this video is edifying. We give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem and Hawashai, by Hashem and Kakodash. I want to give double honors to my apostle elders, great millstone, and Shalom.